right. Okay, so next up, I hear that Mr. Karpinski has a bug that needs to be smashed. Are you ready to pull that up and
Yeah, you bet.
what's going on?
This will be super quick.
Cool.
Let me
And I
just pull
do
this
see
up
the
here.
questions in the Discord, and we'll definitely answer those as well. Okay.
Famous last words. It'll be super quick.
And
All right. Hopefully you can see that. This is, I was pinging Drew yesterday about this and I just couldn't get this figured out. This is my onboarding flow from last week. And I've got a condition check that checks whether or not the user is onboarded. And at the last stage, and I know that the condition is working because if I go into the database and like manually enter 1 or something like that, it'll check it and then run the correct flow. So where I'm getting hung up is setting that value of 1 or whatever into that user, into that onboarded field in the database. So here's what I've got. Basically, I think where I'm getting hung up is setting it for that particular user.
I think it's actually, yeah, what you'll need to do is, this one's going to be, it is going to be fast, I think. Go back into the action real quick. And so this is the one that's going to update the value to 1. This is where you're wanting to do that.
Exactly.
Okay, so what you want to do is scroll up a little bit, and this data collection, yeah, click there. This should actually be coming from, so if you scroll down, there's project structure data collections. I think that should just be selecting the actual collection, which is just users. And then in your record update, you need to map a second field.
Yeah.
With ID as the field to select from. Oh, you're good there. Just select the field, yep, there, and just choose ID, and then get it from the same place you were getting it from.
Current user info is probably what you
Current
need.
user, yeah, that's a good point. Current user info, and then, yep, you can just select there and just ID. And that should be it. So now basically what you're doing is you're sending a new record update to the users collection using the current user's ID and updating that 1 value to, I think it was 3 in this case, right?
Let me just, oh, I double clicked too much. I need to disable click to close.
Disable the click until they're through.
Totally. Sweet. That's got to be it. Finished. Okay. We'll see that. And then perfect.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool, cool. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, those input arguments can get confusing because of the naming, right? It's like, one is like you're selecting a specific data collection versus the other one is you're getting data from that data collection.
Totally.
And
I
it's
always like flip it around. So
yeah, no worries, no worries.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
super awesome. So let's tackle some of the questions in the chat, if that's cool. And then we'll keep going with some of the other stuff that we have. So Vishal is asking if there's a way to upload a table schema from Excel into Bildr.
That's for like the actual column names and stuff, you mean, I assume? Because I don't think there's actually a way to do that right now.
Well, are you wanting to, well, it depends on what you're wanting to do, right? Are you wanting to upload into a data collection on the back end, or are you wanting your user to be able to upload into a collection?
Hi. So I'm trying to build an app, and I have kind of first worked on the database side. So I've got a fair idea of what the table schema is, and I've kind of made it in an Excel with the field names and the data input type and stuff. Now there are about 20 odd tables, and I've put them in a worksheet. So it's kind of, and each table has probably 12, 13 fields in some cases. So it's kind of difficult to manually enter all that. So I was just thinking, is there an easier way to kind of upload one table at a time, and I can get that automatically done. Is there a way to do it from Excel? Because I couldn't find that
Yeah.
functionality. I don't want to enter data right now because for that I'll be building first on Builder and then testing it out. But I thought
Gotcha.
if there is an easier way, that would help me.
Yeah, yeah, sorry about that. I misunderstood. You did say schema and I didn't even it went over my head. Unfortunately, no, Drew is correct. You can't do that yet, but that is something that's part of I got started on building out the import functionality inside of a data collection. And that's part of it, is reading whatever it would actually be a CSV that we would probably require you to export CSV and then upload that. So we know we're getting the same format every time. But in there, we plan to read the columns and then basically allow you to say, I want to create this column or I want to map it to something that already exists in the collection. And in that way, you could basically just have, a record, a single row or something inside of an Excel file, and it would basically create your schema for that whole collection. And you just do it once per collection. But unfortunately, that's not out yet. So, and it's not going to be out for a little while. So I know that it's not something that I wouldn't recommend wait on that. It's probably going to unfortunately require you to go create the collections in the fields manually.
Okay, thank you so much.
No worries.
Thank you. Great question, Vishal. All right, so Jared has a question and he's asking a bit about hosting videos on Bildr. He's trying to build out a course on the platform. Doesn't need to be interactive or anything, just needs to be able to organize course videos. And I know that our perspective on this is use a different hosting service. So can you guys talk about that? And Drew, I know you've probably done this before. Do you have any suggestions?
Yeah, I can definitely suggest how I've done it. And I think Fraser mentioned in there, he's or Fraser, I said Fraser, mentioned in there that he's finding a link potentially to a tutorial. But really the high level way that I would do this is on YouTube. You can have private videos where people can't search for them and find them, but they're still visible. And then you can just embed those. And so in Bildr, you're embedding a private video, and you're, however you want to gate that, if you want people to sign in to be able to see it or whatever, you handle that in Bildr. They can view the video, and then it's that simple. And if you want to take it one step further, you can have completely hidden videos, but access them with the API, I believe. But basically the whole point would be use a streaming service for the videos. And the reason I say that is you can upload videos. Well, it might actually be challenging to upload large video files into Bildr. In theory, you could, but private videos are just easily shareable. Yeah. So I think, host on Wistia. Okay. Yeah.
That was going to be my suggestion. You can do, there are other services. There's several out there. Wistia is one of them, where you can basically API gate it, right? So on our side, you would send an API call. If you have the right key, it'll return it. And yeah, to Drew's point, we don't stream it, right? So even if you uploaded the whole thing, even in an HTML5 video element, it's not going to stream it the same way that YouTube or Vimeo or Wistia or one of these other platforms that does it. Is they know, they read your connection speed, and they have different versions.
They format tons of different video files crazy. Too, to be optimized. It's just better to use them.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Wistia, you can pretty much anything you want to do on the front end can be done in Bildr, and you can handle it. It really depends on the specific way the app's set up. But yeah, I think Wistia probably has you covered there. You can get done a lot of levels of gating or privacy.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Jared, does that answer it? Hopefully so. Let us know if you have any follow-ups. Okay, awesome. So let me see what's next. Okay, let's jump to helping another user. So this is Dorian. Are you on? Yes. Okay. Let's do this one. So I'm gonna call up Jeff Swift. Jeff chatted in the Discord that he's having some trouble with charts. I believe the Google Charts element. He's trying to set a variable into the chart and close the side editor. And then when he goes back into it, the variable is erased. So he's just trying to get some help on the setup of that. Jeff, are you available to jump in and maybe show your screen?
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Mhm. And Dorian, you built Google Charts, the Google Charts element, right?
Yeah, we can, I'm watching so we can see what's going on here.
Okay, so here's the chart.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm setting this right. I'm not sure if this is agreeing with the variables, but I'll just show you. I pull in a variable. I'll do 2. Okay. So then when I come,
Swanson State University.
the best university right there. Okay, so it not enough columns. And then when I go back in, the
Yeah,
blank.
it doesn't save it. Yeah, I believe we resolved this issue. I think it's just a display issue.
Okay.
Or it's just not displaying them properly. I'll have to go look, but I'm pretty sure I solved that issue and it'll come in the next release.
Oh, okay.
One thing you can do to get around it is instead of using the data binding completely, is just use the set element value action instead. Because using that, you actually don't even need any of the settings here. The only thing that you'll need is just setting like the chart type and the Google chart specific settings, but not any of the data settings.
Okay.
Using the set element value, when you're setting the value, you can build that and get all that from variables or from wherever you need to.
So use a set element action
Yeah.
that just puts variables into,
That
or
just
that puts
sets
values
the
into the reports,
into the chart, exactly.
into the chart. Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do like a concatenate, Dorian, in the set element value, or what would the process be?
Well, when you're doing the set element value, it actually doesn't even, like, you don't even need to specify the data fields or any of that. Like,
Okay.
it'll just take it from the JSON.
Maybe we can just set it, like help them set it up here real quick. So we
Yeah,
can,
yeah. So it'd be the set value.
yeah, maybe type value. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
A lot of things with
And then
elements in there.
select chart. Yeah, so it'd be Google Charts, and then where's the data coming from? Data collection, right? Or do you have it in a specific variable already? Or
I've got it in a variable.
okay, then yeah, then just pull it from the variable, and that should be it. And then as long as the variable has the data formatted properly, which we can take a look in a sec.
Does he have to remove the data setting on the chart, or is it okay to leave it?
We should probably remove it. I think it'll override it because it'll happen after anyways, but yeah, let's just remove it. And then
Maybe delete
those
the
shouldn't
data
matter.
field ones.
I think
Move
you're
this
okay.
too?
with that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and remove it.
Okay. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
all that. Okay, good. And then do I need more than one variable? More than one data?
It depends. Like, are you trying to, like, do you have
Well-
the data in different variables and you need to merge it, or?
I'm just wondering if it will let, because the error I kept on getting here was there's not enough columns. Do I
Yeah,
need to
let's
have
just
multiple
see
columns?
it.
Okay,
And then,
Yeah, it probably just depends what that variable value is.
yeah, maybe we can look at the variable value. That's on the root, or was that on the current page? I don't remember.
it's on the root.
And I think you'll need to nest that flow. Did you nest it into page binding or
Oh,
page?
no, I
flow?
didn't.
Okay. Yeah, I think the charts are expecting a JSON array or a JSON. So it depends if that variable is not that, and maybe we need a JSON parse it or something.
Right.
So let me remember which one I set. Hold. Okay. So if we go into
Oh yeah, because
So-
that's getting the length.
Oh, I see. Yeah, yeah. It's the length. So it's just a single value.
Well, no, that's not the variable. That's just setting the count. I think it's in the cache all data. If you go to that flow,
Ah,
it'll be the second one. Okay, so it is an array. We just need to see how the data is being set. Because for Google, it's important that the call, like basically the order of the keys are being provided. Because I think first you have to provide the label and then the values.
So maybe instead of get all fields here, if you selected them in the order that they need to be, would that do it?
I
I
you
think
might
so,
just need a
but
JSON parse.
if we change this setting here, it might break the display of the records because I don't know where this is being used at. So you may want to create a new set variable that's specific for the chart.
I think
That
before
makes-
you do that though, should we try a JSON parse on this? Because it's coming from a variable, so it's a string sent into Google, right? Or you think that's fine?
No, it should be an array because it's coming from this here, right?
Well, once it goes into
but
a
it's an array.
variable, isn't it technically a string?
Right, it's an array instead of a string in the
Gotcha.
variable, right?
So it's
Um,
like maybe we're just trying to set a string into it when we set value, and if we just do the JSON parse path,
Yeah, let's try that and see.
it might not work, but it's an easy try, and then we would save ourselves a lot of hassle.
Yeah.
And that would be in the function the flow you just created for set data for chart. If you go see add a path under task hold, if you type in all capitals JSAON, like JSON, or I'm sorry, JSON, add an A in there for no reason, and then a capital P, and then all lowercase, the rest of the word parse, yeah, and then open and close parenthesis on that. Yeah, perfect. Just try that in case. Just test that out, and if it doesn't work, then no big deal. All right.
Yeah. No. And when you're on this page, can you open the debugging tools that we can just look at the variable and go to the console, and let's just do BRW root. You'll need to type it down there. So it's a BRW, yeah, that one, and then dot, and then underscore vars,
At like
And then-
fifth or sixth one, yeah.
and then hit enter, and let's go see what the tasks hold. So it looks like it has 2 records in it. And then can you open the tasks hold object? Yeah, there, that array actually. Okay, so the first column, yeah, so this wouldn't work. Yeah,
Why
so
is
we'll
it two
definitely need
variables?
to create a variable specific for the fields that we need just for the chart. Because Google Chart doesn't know what to do with that data. And that's why it's saying, you know, there's the columns aren't correct. So if you go back to the all cache, and then we can just duplicate the task hold action. And let's give it a new name. Maybe just add like charts in the variable name. And then in the actual, variable name input there, let's give it a different name. That way it doesn't override the other one. And in here, instead of doing get all fields, we'll need to get the specific fields. So what are you trying to, okay, so you're trying to list the statuses, and then what's the value that you're trying to display against?
Just on hold. Is
So
that,
it'd be a count, which I don't think we have in that data, right, Mark?
oh,
It depends on what's in your data. In your, oh, you're trying to get.
I think
like a
show a
count-
count of on hold tasks.
I see. So if this is only going to be on hold, then organizing by status, you're only going to have one column ever, right? Because
Well, it depends what the other value is. Like if you have a date value in there, it'll group them by date and count the statuses for you. Like Google Charts will do that. So it depends what the other
Yeah, it
axis
depends
is.
what the axis is.
If-
But I think
if we
he's
could
just trying
do-
to get a count, right? Or
Yeah, just show the counts. We've got 10 on hold. We've got 3 with a problem, 10 completed.
Yeah, I think
Oh, and
the,
it's not, so it's like less of a chart almost. It's more of like just showing that in a visual form.
Just displaying, it's almost, I mean, it's just displaying this graphically.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you just need to put a date or like a column in there. I feel like there's a way to get this done in a chart, but it's almost like a little bit outside of a normal chart use case because it's only the one. But I feel like there might be a way.
yeah, maybe we can try the date because it will group it. We'll
Yeah.
leave the status, and then as the second field, let's see what dates we have in here. Yeah, we can try that and see.
Yeah, at least see if the chart shows up one step closer.
And then you'll need to do one thing. You'll need to change the set value to get it from the new variable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if you click in where it says task hold, click in that field and you should see the new variable.
All right.
So it's the chart one. Yeah. And then let's try that. No.
Can that be type string? It's like you have to
Can't be
switch
a
the order
date.
of those.
Yeah.
And honestly, with this kind of data, I would say don't use a chart because you have way more flexibility. If you basically want it dynamic per status, right? So like if you add another status later, it'll add another thing to the display, and then you have a count. I would actually use a grid for this and have a grid page that is that status. You know, for like that status with the count, almost like the display it's below, except it's dynamic because you're setting then all the records in there, but you're organizing it by the status. And I think Dorian, doesn't one of the JSON parse actions let us do exactly that, where we could basically combine all those records, or you could just basically set the list of statuses into the grid, and then on each of those filter the records for only the records of that status, and then just do a dot length to get the count in that one, you know? So it's like, then it's totally dynamic. And you have total control over the UI then too. You can, like, if there's more than 5, change the color or whatever, you know?
Well, I was gonna say, what about choosing the colors and scaling them correctly together? Like the chart does offer some of that if you're comparing the numbers.
That's true.
What I was thinking is like you have the numbers there for task with a problem, task on hold, team members. You could just manually create a string JSON array with like some value that's the same, and then the total, and the next one is some value that's the same and the total. I think we could get that done.
Actually, yeah, I like that. You just manually create the JSON that you're setting into the chart.
Yeah.
Because you do already have the totals.
Yeah. Like somehow, like I'm not super familiar with this starter kit, but it's like somehow the totals are already there, so you could just basically use them. It's a little complex. We could probably walk through it now. I don't remember the exact. You just need like some field that's the same, right?
Yeah, and you could just use the status, because the status would be the the category, and then you can just call the other one total or count, and you're just repeating that for each status.
Yeah. Should we try to set that up real quick?
I feel like we've thrown a lot at you right now.
Yeah. So on this action where it says value, we're going to change that to concatenate instead.
Okay.
And we're basically going to manually build a JSON array to manually set the value into the grid. And so basically you'll start with like an open bracket, then a curly to create a object in it.
That first one needs to be like a square. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then we can just use status. It'd be double quote status, and then colon, and then another, right? Yeah, it'd be another double quote. And then the first status would be, what's the first one's that tasks with a problem, or I don't know what order you want to put them in, but yep. So on hold. Yeah, and then be comma. and then double quotes, and then we can just call it count or total or whatever you want to call it. We just have to be consistent. And then colon, and then again, open another double quotes, and then remove those last two. And then in the second object, we're going to get that from a variable, just so we can get the count, which will be I think it's called on hold. And then we'll just do a length for the path. Yep. And then let's add another one, and then we're going to close that one. So double quotes to close it, and then, yep, then we close it, and then probably want to copy the first object at the top. No, we don't have to type all that. And then on the last one there, remove that last bracket there, and then do a comma, and then paste that in, and you'll need to erase the opening bracket. So it's just the object. And then let's change this to the second status that you're trying to display there. Yep. And then let's add another, and then basically the same thing. So this will be from variable. This time it'll come from the problem one, and then we'll do length. And then why don't we just try it with these two, and then if you need to add more, you can add them later. So let's add another one at the end. So double quotes, let's close the object, and then close the array. Yep, I think that's correct. That looked correct. And then
This
let's
is so
go.
precise. It reminds me of like doing surgery or something. It's like so.
All right, so now let's go try it. There you go.
Nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
No, but now I can just take that and
Yeah, you can just add anything you want to it.
Yeah.
Keep adding to it.
And if you add more, like we have status and count in each object. If you added a third one, that's where you'd get like the red bars. Like you'd add it, like you can depend. I don't know exactly what you want to display, but you can probably play around with it.
Perfect. Well, thank you. It's showing up. Swanson State University has some tasks now.
Yay, Jeff. Okay, do you feel good?
So yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you for letting us help with that, or letting them help with that.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, great. So let's see, what do we have next? So Vishal was asking in the chat about a marketplace. If anyone's built that, and Mark built one. I keep saying we, not doing any of this. Mark built a job board marketplace a while ago, and it's actually in y'all's default patterns list. So you can always bring that into your projects and then just make it your own and use it. Or you can just view it in the pattern view, and you can like deconstruct everything. You can see how the actions are set up, page structure, etc. And then I also linked out to a related video where he took us through how he built that. So that'll be hopefully helpful for you, Vishal. Okay, so I think next up, can I ask if Chris V from Discord is in the call that is building out a game with JS? Okay, so I guess we can just answer his question in the Discord, but he was asking about, I think this one would probably be for you, Drew. I guess we can just talk about it. Maybe I can just send him a clip. Or you know what? Let's just focus on who's here.
Yeah, I don't know if I know enough about it. I would actually have to ask questions first, I think, but
Okay.
we will probably be able to help. So, whether it's through Discord or next week,
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so Josh Johnson is asking, I'm struggling to get data to display in my grid list row. I do have it populating with a line now, but it's just displaying default values and not the data. Josh, are you down to show your screen and have us take a look at your setup?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right,
Guys.
cool.
Thanks to the people that have been helping me the last week or so as well. Appreciate all you guys immensely. It's been really enjoyable.
Nice.
Yay.
So I got this over here. Let me do this actually. I'll just show the demo first. So what is happening is this is the header zone page. Your dogs is the grid list being displayed. The add dog function works. These do create the actual things appropriately. There's a separate issue that I have that Marco, you tried to help the other day, that I'm trying to look up to see if this dog tag is actually available, and I can't seem to get that to run appropriately. Somehow it's not verifying it. Either way, when I click add dog, it now displays both dogs, but it doesn't pull any of the info out of it. And so I assume this would be somewhere buried in the dog row issue.
Yep.
But when
It's probably actually right where you are. See if you're selected on one of them that you want to replace. There's a purple data tab. Oh, you have it on that one, right? I was gonna say it didn't look like it was set. So yeah, this
The image is set.
this should actually work. Let's see.
so dog
The name. Yeah, that's right.
the dog tag for the field dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe check that original grid that's loading them all in, and we can make sure we're pulling all the fields in, because that actually looks correct. So that should have worked.
So okay, so original grid. So I tried this with and without these fields listed here. I don't know if that matters or not.
I mean, if you did get all fields, it would cover you. Like that would be like a foolproof. I think with this, you might need to add ID manually, but
Yeah,
probably not.
that's why, because it requires the
Yep,
ID is the
it's
reference.
your ID right here in the filter. Well, but it was working still. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I you know what it was? I at the same time, this is like prime example to only change one thing at once, because what happened was when I did it, I added these fields and I added the filter at the same time for the ID. So like it's all the same and messed up the other.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, I don't want to take up all the other stuff. I got a couple other things that I can maybe bury in Discord.
No,
Wait,
let's do it.
Yeah, it's
I
up to
missed
you. We can
this,
keep
though.
going if you have other issues on here.
I get to put my dogs in here? Like that's,
It-
sorry, I came back like right in the middle.
you will be able to.
Nice.
I'll share more when it's done. I can share like kind of like the big vision of like a combination of I haven't really intentionally tried to do like a social dog site, but it's really like an IP brand around like real dogs that are going to be making NFTs around, and allowing anyone to join that process through a DAO eventually.
Oh, that's awesome.
So in development.
I really like the idea because I want to I have a really old dog that I want to live forever,
And this dog passed in January, and that's like the reason that all this was triggered for me.
Totally makes
I got
sense.
a book that's being illustrated. So it's going to be like Pixel Vault, where when you're going to be able to mint Henry originally, and then you're going to have, if you have minted that, you're going to get a NFT for a digital storybook that'll also be printed and sent eventually as well. And so I'm trying to like get the whole onboarding process together, because most NFT projects just do like one thing at a time and then they like sit around and don't do anything for months. And so I'm trying to have like a whole thing available for that process.
Nice.
Awesome.
Great.
Yeah, keep us informed for sure.
Josh, we have 7 minutes left, so let's try to tackle something else. And then if anyone has questions, please chat us in the Discord, and we'll keep going there.
Absolutely. I appreciate that a lot. So the other thing I'm trying to do, so is the one unique variable with this is the dog tag. It has to be unique because that's the username, that's the / in the profile page. And so what I have running is an event on when this field is changed. There's a workflow that runs to validate if dog tag's unique. And this is what I think, Marco, you helped me with this. the other day. So I'm looking at the collection, and maybe this is, now that I'm looking at it, maybe there's some sort of issue correlated here, but I don't know. So I'm transforming the dog collection into an array, just doing fields again. I guess we could do all of them or narrow it down. I don't have a filter. I turned that on trying to play around. It was off before. Basically, again, the goal is just to look against this against the existing dog tag fields that it doesn't exist already.
I think I see the issue. It's the toggle up above for use field names. What's going to happen whenever you use that is that the next match value that you select down in there is actually going to be trying to use the field ID. And so it's going to try to match the field name and the field ID. I think that's probably what is doing it. Because in this scenario, you wouldn't want to use field names.
There might be an easier way to do this too. I don't know if you're doing something else here, but this setup with transferring JSON data might be a little confusing. You can just do like a condition and go get from the data collection where dog tag equals that tag. And if it's blank, you're good. If it's not, it's wrong. Like you could actually just change it up. I don't know if you want to do that, but I just want to mention before you get too far in there.
Yeah, it's doing the same kind of thing. The difference is exact matching it. And that's where it's gonna cause an issue.
Like you should do it this way, you mean?
You could probably do it either way, but it depends on what the outcome's looking for, right? So like what at the end of this, if you scroll down.
So what I have done is it sets the variable, it should set, like, I guess it's counting the number of matches, and then setting that variable in to
So here you'll want to do, if you want, so the first one is going to return a JSON array of objects of the things that it found. So it's actually going to return like all the record data.
Okay.
So in the set value, what you're going to want to do is you'll add a path at the end right below matches where it says add a path, and you'll want to type length in there, and that'll get the matches array and then the length. Length. Like, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's definitely one of the issues, I think, then.
You'll need a little more on that length. Do you need parentheses open and close, right? It's switched,
Either way will work.
Yeah, it'll work either way. Yeah, so you can do it like a function like that or not, and we'll handle it either way. That's unique to length though, not to all paths. where you don't have to put those parentheses is only in length. But that should get the length, and then that's probably why, like if you do on the compare values on the condition down below in the fourth action. Yeah, so if you were doing greater than 0 there and it was a JSON array, it might actually, it's probably always going to solve for true in that case.
That makes sense. So it's interesting because when I was, it basically, yes, I think is what was happening, because I set these after the fact to try to figure out why it wasn't working. And it was an array if nothing in it is just the two brackets, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what was displaying.
No results. Like it should allow them to get that username, basically.
Gotcha.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think this answers my question then, because if that works, I feel confident about how I'm going to validate all of it to allow it to proceed. I've got everything else validated. Just that one wasn't working because I couldn't figure out how to pass it through.
Nice.
Cool. That's very, very helpful, guys.
Cool.
Thank you.
I'm making a note to make an easier way to do this.
We could just make an action for this and make it super easy.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there needs to be an action, but there also needs to be in the data collection on the field just a setting to require unique values. Yeah, because then we just return the response that says,
oh yeah,
couldn't create because that field's not unique.
That would be
better.
Because this could be overridden or a mistake could happen. I mean, in this case, it's probably not a big deal, but like a user could technically like hack it and create it anyways, So putting it on the back end would be a better solution. It'd also make it much easier because then you just go like require unique, and then you would have to check for that response. If you get that response after they click the button, then you say, oh, that one's not unique. But either way.
Just because I'm right here looking at it, these have to, obviously, I'm trying to do like no special characters and like no spaces at all in this. I feel like I can figure out potentially how to verify it after like a click or a change event, but is there any way like just that I could prevent them even typing any of those types of characters into the space?
Yeah, you've got it started there in the key up, inside of the key up, the flow that runs on key up, that if you run inside of there, there's an action that removes special characters. Yeah, that one. And you can put, so you select the elements, select that, that input. And then you can type exceptions in. So if you want to allow, hashtags or something like that, you can put exceptions. Otherwise, it's going to remove every special character that's not like alphanumeric, right? A, B, C, D, and 0, 1 through 9.
What about like underscores and space?
So this will remove, if the way it's set right now, it's going to remove all of that.
Okay. So if I wanted to do that, then it would.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So now they could type an underscore, but nothing else. So now it's like A through Z, 0 through 9, and underscore will be kept.
Awesome.
And that'll happen as they type. So if they hit a space in, it'll literally just like remove the space.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, that takes us to 11 o'clock. Thank y'all so much. This was a really fun session helping you figure stuff out. We'll do this again next week at a different time. If there are any residual questions, ask us in the Discord. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Thanks,
you
guys.
so much, everyone. Have a great
Thanks,
rest
everyone.
of your day. Hi, little baby over there in the corner with Alex. All right. Bye, everyone.